Occasionally, life presents you with incredibly unforeseen opportunities to save someone, even if they are only a little critter. How may an animal shelter be unintentionally started? The tale of today will demonstrate how this is possible. The tale of a guy finding a hedgehog is quite endearing. What came next will warm your heart as well as make you giggle. Adam made the decision not to adopt another pet anytime soon after losing his dog. His flat was too tiny for a canine companion that was more active, but it would be ideal for an elderly dog. In addition, Adam's heart was still too shattered to think of obtaining a new dog. However, he also enjoyed the outdoors and animals, so he spent a lot of time walking and trekking on various pathways. He was strolling through a nearby park when he leaned over to admire a lovely flower. His attention was drawn to something on the ground, and he noticed a peculiar small critter concealed by some shrubs nearby. At first, Adam wasn't sure what it was. It appeared to have two bodies, despite being little and spiky. Adam leaned down even farther out of curiosity and gave the tiny critter a gentle pat on the head with a short stick. The small creature gave up a hiss and appeared to be unhappy, as seen by its raised spines. Adam then recognized that this was a hedgehog, but the unfortunate beast had a large object perched atop its back. At first, Adam was unable to identify what it was. Despite his gentle attempts, he was unable to get rid of it. Removing his jacket, he peered more closely while keeping his hands away from the hedgehog's mouth. It appeared as though the object was genuinely emerging from him. Was there a malignancy on the poor creature? He was laying quite limp in Adam's hands, looking extremely unwell after his first arrogance. Adam brought the small creature, still in his jacket, back to his car and drove to the veterinarian's office he always passed on his way to work. Adam felt he could not just leave him there without having him checked out. The veterinarian informed him that, in reality, the large growth emanating from the animal's back was a tumor. But this made it more difficult because it was a wild animal. The tumor could be removed, but recuperation was the problem. The animal's time at their hospital was limited to a few days, and it would need much longer for it to fully heal. He would most likely catch an infection and perish if they operated on him and immediately returned him to the wild. Adam promised to take care of the hedgehog until it was safe to release him back into the wild, before he could talk himself out of it. Adam did extensive research on what he would need for his new little companion, while the hedgehog was having surgery, going above and beyond to ensure that his visitor would have a comfortable stay for the ensuing several months. He made the hedgehog a cage in the bedroom, complete with a log to climb and lots of room to run about in. He had to find out what kind of food hedgehogs could consume, and to his unpleasant surprise, he discovered that in order to give him worms and insects for supper along with a small amount of cat food, he would need to feed him in order to get him strong and healthy. When the time came to bring the hedgehog home, Adam felt anxious. The tiny kid appeared to be exhausted from his journey and was ready to go to sleep. Choosing not to give him a name and instead referring to him as Hedgie for short, Adam avoided becoming overly close to him. After he took him home, Hedgie slept all day, which worried Adam a little, but as soon as Adam went in bed, Hedgie began to play. He made small chirping noises as he went about. Adam had a terrible time falling asleep. Adam relocated Hedgie into his spare bedroom and eventually got some sleep after realizing that their timetables were just not the same after the second sleep-deprived night. The physician had instructed Adam that the hedgehog should still be permitted to go outside and smell his natural habitat. When he needed to be freed again, that would make things simpler. So Adam would take Hedgie to the park where he was found and put a unique small leash on him every few days. The sensation of strolling a hedgehog felt a little odd. Many questioned him about what he was doing, but eventually the man with the small hedgehog on a leash and harness became familiar to everyone. The questioning ended, but there was still one issue. A little girl approached him one day while he was walking Hedgie and said she had heard he was the one to talk to about a hedgehog. Adam attempted to clarify that this was an isolated incident, but the girl just gave him a hedgehog with a severely broken snout. She clarified that she didn't know what to do with it after saving it from a dog. She was hoping Adam could handle it. Adam was left holding a hedgehog in his hand and another by his feet when the girl fled before he could even come up with a response. Adam took a car to the veterinarian once more. When Adam entered the room with a different hedgehog, the veterinarian was taken aback. Was he gathering them up? Following his examination, he came to the conclusion that before being released, this one would likewise require some time to rest and heal from his wounds. Adam consented to take in the hedgehog once more. At this pace, his house was becoming like a hotel for hedgehogs, which he hoped they would ultimately check out of before returning home. He brought the 2 hedgehogs inside his home. A few children were playing outside the apartment building. Running up to him, one of the little boys wanted to pet his hedgehogs. Adam clarified that because they were wild animals rather than pets, they were really cruel. The youngster was happy that he had let him feel the quills. 2 hedgehogs could not coexist in the same cage, so Adam had to put up another one inside his house. His extra room was being overrun with hedgehog cages. Not too long after he'd returned home, the hedgehogs had taken up residence in their own cages when there came a tap on the door. The boy from before was standing in front of Adam as he responded. The child described how he had observed a newborn hedgehog without a mother in the bushes around the corner. Could Adam please come look at this? Adam was stunned for a second. How did he get from being known as the Hedgehog Man to not wanting a dog? But he was unable to refuse the young boy's request after meeting his eager eyes. He accompanied the youngster on his trek to investigate, praying the entire time that it was an oversight and that the little animal that was there instead of the hedgehog could survive on its own. But his aspirations were shattered the moment he laid eyes on the small newborn. The hedgehog was much too little to have been there by itself. The baby was still where the boy discovered it in the morning, even though they had left it through the night to see if the mother returned. So Adam visited the veterinarian once more. This particular vet simply laughed. By then, Adam's carrying a hedgehog into his workplace had become a common sight. The hedgehog would require care over the winter because he was too little to survive on his own and was large enough to eat. Winter was almost here. After Adam erected a second cage, the infant joined the other hedgehogs in the group. Adam made sure they were all taken care of all winter long. Even though they still hissed at him frequently, he did grow to care for them since he fed and took care of them. When summer finally arrived, the veterinarian cleared all 3 of them. Almost everyone who had the opportunity to get to know them turned up when it was time to let them go. He set them down, and they vanished into the shrubbery in an instant. Now they were at home. Adam found it to be a bittersweet moment, both relieved that they were free and disappointed that their house was once again vacant. Your heart will melt at what transpired next, though. The veterinarian, who had come for the release, caught up with Adam as he turned to go. He informed Adam about an older dog that needed a suitable home because its owner had recently passed away. He pondered whether Adam, now that he had no pets in his house, might think about taking the dog in. Adam glanced at the picture of a large, brown-eyed dog and then back to the bushes where the hedgehogs had vanished. He then grinned and promised to accompany the veterinarian to pick up his new pal.